Long time no see.
Indeed.
Last time I seen you was in Wales.
It was.
How was your journey back?
The journey was actually mint. The journey was probably the best car journey ever. In fact, to be honest, driving on a Sunday, this is an interesting one, is actually a pleasurable experience.
I don't know about that, mate.
It made me realise that
it's Sunday drivers. People just go for a drive for the sake of it.
This is true, but I genuinely enjoyed that journey home. It wasn't a problem. Whereas like the journey here today, just navigating the M25 and the M1 in midweek, absolute nightmare. But I actually think maybe I'm a Sunday driver.
Yeah, you're the ones that hold up the road, man, going slow and dirty.
In my 1.2 litre Fiat 500. So you've been doing a load of renewables lately. How did that process was quite complicated. Did you get it over the line?
It's done. It's working.
Both units.
Both units are done. So the job was good. Obviously, it's a lot slower than what it would be to fit a boiler. A lot more work goes into the design. So yeah, it's very, very, very long-winded.
Oh, did the Valent guy come out?
Yeah, it came out. There was a little issue with it, the appliance, but to be fair, he came out pretty quickly, sorted it. It was something minor. We're just waiting for MCS now, which is like the registration document for it. And again, it's not a quick process.
So just for people who don't know what the MCS document is, what is that?
MCS is, so for instance, on the electrics, you've got on this T-shirt here, you've got NIC, EIC, which is like an electrical approved accreditation. And then gas safe is for gas. MCS is for renewables.
I see. So that's
which
quite
is something like I don't know exactly what it is. Like micro jet something or other scheme.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, it's there's not that many experts in the field in renewables. So some people have obviously done it for 20, 30 years, but there's not that many. Okay. I don't think, especially not in England.
So that's the equivalent of, as I say, gas safe, but for renewables.
Oh.
There we go.
It's 2 minutes, sorry. Oh, you still there, mate? He thinks I'm rude to him there. Looks like I'm rude to him, innit? Right, so what was I saying? Yeah, so that was that. I've got 4 more to do.
You've got some more booked in, different client?
No, myself. I am building 4 houses. So the 4 houses will, because they're new builds, they're going to have to be air source or ground source heat pumps.
Do you know which one you're going to go for yet?
I'd like to go for ground source, to be honest with you, but I don't know yet. I'll have to get it designed properly. I'm doing the drawings now for the houses. I have got the land potentially to do ground source. So yeah, mate, we'll see how we get on with it.
So just on the ground source, air source thing, is one more expensive than the other, or do they both come with like a variable of complications that make...
I would imagine ground source is more expensive because a lot of the times you have to bore a hole into the earth to basically draw the heat from the ground. And boring a hole is thousands on itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, there's other ways you can do it. You can even do it via lakes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I actually have to build a lake as part of the planning permission.
Oh, do you? And is the one that you would say is potentially easier than is air source easier?
I haven't done much ground source, so I don't know. To be honest with you, like, there's no point in me blagging it and saying that I know everything about renewables because I just don't. But I do know everything about electrics and plumbing within reason. You know, so it's transferable skills to something very similar. You know, the more you do, the more experience you get, right? The only thing is they're so expensive to fit. The market we're in, people just aren't doing them because it's like 15 grand to fit one.
Yeah, so
and you fit a boiler for 3 or 2, you know?
So obviously the government want this net zero or whatever by 2030, I think it is. Are you finding that customers are trying to get more renewable stuff or?
No, not really. I mean, the thing is with it, like, for instance, where I live, the heat loss is terrible here. Like, I was saying, like, last winter, my oil bills was like £1,500 a month. Like, ridiculous. Like,
wow.
Yeah, mad. So I wouldn't be able to do a heat pump in this house because it just wouldn't work. But again, you know, it's because probably my windows are old. There's no insulation. You need to make sure your system is basically, your house is basically airtight, like insulated, and there's no places that the heat will creep out, you know?
So, I mean,
I'm not against heat pumps, but I am against them.
Well, you're against them.
I'm kind of open to them, but I know that they're not, in my opinion, very good.
Yeah, so I think more what it is you're not happy with them being forced upon everyone because the infrastructure isn't there for it in the country.
For new builds, I understand it, right? Because it is possible to fit them because you can work out all your heat losses. But to put them into a 1930s house or something like that, I just don't see it as feasible. Weirdly, Stefan, you were going to get a heat pump fitted in your house, weren't you?
Yeah.
Have you gone any further with that?
No. You told me not to.
Did I? So didn't you have a quote from Octopus or someone?
Yeah, but I wanted to put mine on a flat roof. I didn't want to put it on the ground floor, and nobody would do it.
Why?
Because that's basically computer says no. They come out and do a survey, right?
Was that free?
What survey? I don't know, but I just don't want to waste people's time. I'm like, if you can't do it,
nice.
on the
I
flat
wish
roof,
people had done that to
what's the
me.
point?
Yeah.
You know?
And have you had all your house insulated?
It's fairly well insulated, yeah.
So it's the summer, so heating's less of a necessity. Like, what other jobs do RyGroup do over the summer?
Correct. Gas is very seasonal. No one wants their boilers touched in the summer. It's like, yeah, the job count goes down massively. However, plumbing obviously doesn't stop. Electric don't stop. And we just have to keep ourselves busy. So I think no matter how big in business you are, in my opinion, it's always feast and famine.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, even when you're too busy or you've got too much work on, you normally are stressed about it. But then when you haven't got enough work on, you're stressed about
that
it.
too. Yeah, I know that feeling.
That happy medium. You know what it's like being a freelancer, right? So they say, what do they say? Strike whilst the iron's hot, right?
Do, yeah.
But we keep ourselves busy. As a business size, we probably could be a lot bigger anyway. So we're probably naturally smaller than what we should be. So we always seem to somehow keep ourselves busy. We are looking more though in the future now to go more into the commercial
sector,
yeah. So like with schools and stuff like that.
I see.
So predominantly at the minute, the majority of our work's domestic, and it is for sort of normal homeowners. Some builders, not many. A lot of landlords and estate agents. It's very reactive, our work. So it'd be good if we had a bit more planned maintenance. Otherwise, you know, it's normally phone call, bang, boiler's broken, or I've got a leak, or I've got an issue with my electrics. When can you get out? And normally, majority of our work is either the same day or the next day that you'd need to attend. Mm-hmm. But like I don't know, what is 2025 now? Since 2010, we've only ever been a week in advance, really.
Right.
If that.
Oh, wow.
But that's how it's always been, you know, because you can't predict a problem.
That's true.
So you can't say in 3 weeks' time, can I get you round for my broken boiler?
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen, you know. So it would be definitely good if we could obviously lean in more on more planned works. But again, the model that we've got, it works, you know. But I think obviously one thing we are going to start doing soon is offer service contracts, because naturally we've got a huge customer base that we look after, obviously on a yearly basis, but it's sort of pay as you go. They'll just pay us per hour, or you know, whatever it is, per job or whatever. But if then we done like a monthly maintenance for them, it would be, let's say, £10 a month, but then they would get like a bit like an insurance scheme. And you know, just looking after the property in general. We're not a letting agent company, but we're very similar. Like we look after keys and all sorts for people. You know, you don't really need to do that, but some landlords or whatnot, they don't live in the country, so we're kind of like their office.
Yeah,
you know?
equivalent of an estate agent.
Yeah, mate. But obviously, business is aggressive, more so than ever. In fact, me and Stefan and Sarah have been doing a lot of meetings recently about how to adapt in current times. Software being a massive thing at the minute. You know, everything's digital nowadays, right?
You've got a new website launching, haven't you? Do you want to tell me anything?
We've got Ryo Sully website that's just about to go live, and the TradeGains one, which is mentoring and coaching business wise. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about the software and stuff, like with the industry now, like if you know you're hungry now, rarely ring someone up and order food. A lot of it's just on a phone now, bang, delivered, right? Same as a taxi. And I feel like it's going to go like that in the trade industry as well.
So like apps and things like that. So I need a plumber.
There's one now, bang, booked.
Okay.
That's the price, you know. And
gives you a couple of options of which guy you want or which girl you want.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and I think that's kind of how
So is that possible to create an app like that for RyGroup? So they just go, because obviously you do so many different trades at the company, so they could just go on there, see the picture of the guy, pick a plumber, see who's available even.
And it's scalable, you know. I know pretty much every postcode
in London,
and some, you know. I've actually got tattoos of postcodes, man. But if you get obviously the right platform correctly, you can scale it. Whereas getting work through the door now, it costs a lot of money, man. It really does. Like, advertising's so expensive. Obviously, word of mouth, the best tool. You know, recommendations, doing the job correctly and doing a good job, obviously naturally gets you repeat business. So and obviously having strong branding. You need to, in my opinion, have a strong brand to stay relevant in our industry, because there's so much competition, you can get forgotten.
Well, your brand is everywhere. It's obviously at Wimbledon Stadium. You've now got Tooting Beck. Obviously, your branding's all there. I mean, talk to me a little bit about Tooting Beck, because you're one of the part owners there. Like, what are you looking for some sponsorship at the moment?
So Stefan obviously we just done a podcast. He knows a lot more about the club than I do, because obviously he's the original person who started it. But I run RyGroup like a football team anyway, right? Everyone's different position. You need this, that, and the other. But Tooting Beck's exactly the same position, you know, like, to keep winning and being part of a winning team and to keep cleaning up titles and winning, you need to make sure you've got a decent budget, whether even that's not for playing. You still need to have your insurance. You still need to have your kits. You still need to have, you know, training facilities paid, physio, and stuff like that. But Tooting Beck had a great year last year. They changed management, so the management came in and obviously found their feet. I believe from what Steph was saying earlier, the training facilities came. It was in January. It came in January, and then we noticed that
it improved the performance on the pitch.
Performances and the results got a lot better.
So we've got a lot of businesses watching now. Like, how can they get involved?
So there's a sponsorship brochure. Brochure. There's a brochure that shows all the stuff on there for new partners to come on. Obviously, we've got kit sponsorship deals, tracksuits, highlights,
hoardings around the ground.
Hoardings, even, you know, the Tooting Beck podcast.
Yeah, you're doing a podcast now, aren't you?
Yeah,
as well?
Yeah. So season tickets, you know, we would, you know, like to get people actually to come to watch it. So we're not just after people's money. We want people to come in and actually be part of the cause. And
do you have any like caveats there with, like, you know, like kids are free or anything like that? So, you know, because obviously get families down and stuff.
Yeah, kids come free, mate.
So that's brilliant, because the thing is with grassroots football at the moment, actually it's growing, and non-league football, having been an ex-non-league player, like, there wasn't enough families and kids coming along, and now it's so expensive. You can't get tickets for the Premier League. Like, so non-league football, you know, I think that's a great option.
I don't like the Premier League anyway.
No,
it's too much of a business, man. I like talking about football quickly. I am obviously a Wimbledon fan. Monday we're in the playoffs at Wembley to hopefully get us back to League One, which is where I think we belong. Anyway.
You'll have already been promoted by the time this comes out.
Oh, wicked! Yeah. I like the energy on that. But yeah, like, I would love to see Wimbledon in the Championship, but I don't care about the Premiership, because for me the Championship's my favourite league.
Do you know that the Championship is actually the second most watched league in Europe after the Premier League?
Really?
Yeah. So
yeah, I love the Championship.
The amount of big teams with grounds that get a massive state, you know, like,
it's just that it's electric, and the football seems faster.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Premiership, it seems to be like a bit slow, and I do think the Premiership is a bit of a different style of football.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say that, and even like Annette Sanseli's football in Spain or Italy, I still think they play it differently to England, you know. But again, like, the thing is with Wimbledon, it's exactly the same as, like, you know, anything. Tooting Beck, RyGroup, everyone needs a budget, right? Mm-hmm. And with Wimbledon, we got relegated from League One to League Two, and it's hard to get back up to it because we built a stadium. And then, you know, with that, naturally, the playing budget went down, and, you know, our outgoings are massive. So you need to make sure in any line of business, your outgoings are manageable.
Talking about getting people involved with sponsoring Tooting Beck, you were involved with sponsoring Wimbledon right at the very beginning when they were AFC, weren't you? So, like...
Yeah, so what happened with me was when I was 16, I got released, or 17, released from Brentford. And then AFC Wimbledon, this is like 2002, I think, they were like I must have been 2004. This was, but they started in 2002, and I started playing for them as like a player when they were like combined counties or whatnot. But I actually played for Wimbledon, the original Wimbledon,
their academy,
at like 12 and 13. So.
Ironically, I was being scouted by Wimbledon all the way up in Blackpool.
That's good, man.
They had, but the old Wimbledon had like a reach. Like, so me and another lad got invited down to a trial in London.
I remember you telling me this. Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, sick. So with Wimbledon, even with me playing football when I was like 20, 21, playing semi-professional, whatever, I couldn't commit to training because that in the evenings I'd have to.
Because you were a tradesman.
Well, that's it. I had to go. I had to do my quotes. But during the day, like I would work.
Estimator.
Yeah, basically during the day I'd work, and then of an evening, at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I'd go and see jobs to be able to then fill my diary again the week after. Nowadays, though, I remember actually that was a big thing where I stopped going to do quotes or estimates of an evening or a weekend. One day I was just like, bang, that's not happening anymore. And I remember being really worried, being like, you know, if they don't want to be in, you know, like they don't want to take a day off work. They want you to do it in the evenings. So I remember being a big risk going, oh, you know, that's going to lose me a load of work, but it didn't. And I also remember going back registered, and I was like, oh, geez, that's going to be
your
really
prices go up
tough.
20%.
Yeah, well, actually, what happened was then it was 17.5%. So I took the jump. I had to do it anyway because obviously the threshold when you're buying materials is quite easy to hit. So I went VAT registered very quickly, 17.5%, and then it went down to 15%. I don't even know when that would be.
Yeah,
I'd have to find that.
I think it was recession. So 2008, 2009.
So I just find. I would love to know what day I actually started. Like the first day I went out in my first van. I don't know if it was 2008 or 2009 or. It can't have been 2007, but maybe it was 2007 actually. But anyways, and then when they put it up to 20%, so they took it down, so put it back up again. It's been 20% since, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's never gone back down. They said it would. So actually, for anyone who's thinking about going VAT registered now, like, would you tell them, you know, because obviously people will be scared about adding that price on. What would you say to them?
Do you know what? The other day, naturally, we have to battle for jobs, right? And prices, and everyone compares to get 3 job quotes or whatever. And one of them the other day was a limited company, and they were like, oh, you know, it's a big company, and the company wasn't VAT registered. I'm like, in my opinion, this isn't me being rude about anyone, but if you're not VAT registered, you're doing something wrong.
Or you're not very big.
Yeah, but then
because you have to earn.
But if you take a salary and then you put your materials in there, how can you not be VAT registered? It doesn't make sense.
Well, once you turn over 80 grand, you have to be VAT registered.
Is that what the threshold is? Yeah.
Sure.
But if you're not VAT registered, you're better off being employed.
Yeah.
You're better off being employed and just get a salary and not have to worry about all the stress of running a business. Because everyone thinks when you run a business, you're going to work 8 till 5. It's not correct. It's 24/7, 365.
Of course.
There is no weekends. You know what I mean? Every day just goes in to... It's like, for instance, even your work ethic. You know, you'd go where the work is. Mm-hmm. You're not fussy. You'll just get up because you know that's how it is. But then obviously the luxuries of being your own boss is if you did want to take a day off and go to an allotment, you can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
mean?
mean?
You don't get paid.
Yeah, well, that's it. But, you know, that's why you have to work when the work's there. And when it's not there, sit in the garden and enjoy your life, man. Do you know what I mean?
Life's too short.
Yeah. But listen, I still work. Really strangely, I still work. Like, I do more than this, but I still get in to work latest 8 and then till 6. So I still work employed hours, even though I'm not 10. I don't even know if I'm employed or not.
Company director, I guess.
Is that self-employed or employed?
Well, if you're not taking a salary, if you're taking a salary, you're employed. If you're just taking dividends, then you'd just be...
Yeah, so like I know a lot of people that, you know, they run their own business, but they don't do five days a week. And listen, I'll take my hat off to anyone that can do that because for whatever reason, I can't do it.
But it's more than a RyGroup is like you and Sarah. That was your first child, wasn't it? Really, let's be honest.
Yeah, man. I said that to Mark earlier, one of the Sparks who's actually working here today. I said to him, I've got like four, I would have 5 kids. So I've obviously got the first one was the business, then the dog, then my son, then my daughter. And now I've got another baby on the way.
And potentially tooting back.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I've got another baby as well. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, and I've got a couple of goldfish as well. But, Yeah, man. So that's another thing coming, mate, in November. Touch wood, everything is all good with that. But another baby.
But how does, because obviously Sarah has to take a big back seat then. Like, obviously the business must suffer when Sarah has a baby.
Yeah, I mean the business suffers when Sarah takes an hour off, mate.
Yeah.
She's massive. Like she's so intelligent. And some of the stuff that she does, like even like that MCS stuff, mate. Like I would never be able to do that, never in a million years. And she can just get her head down and get through like mad paperwork. I can just about email.
Well, this is the thing. They say that behind every successful man is a woman, a good woman. But I think nowadays, it's behind most successful businesses is a good woman. You have to have that balance, don't you? It can't just be one-sided.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to the team stuff. Like, for instance, with Toot and Beck, I bought into Stefan. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what Stefan does is not what I can do, So then opposites, I think, attract.
It's like you talk about football. If you had a team of 11 strikers, you'd be buggered, wouldn't you?
Exactly. And also, I said this to someone else the other day, actually, right? So I don't think I am fully unemployable, right? When you work for yourself, you go to a stage and you're like, I just
sort of think I might be unemployable for a business.
But I think with me, I think I can follow orders and I understand that some people are in charge, but I wouldn't be able to work for someone with that could do what I can do. That's my problem. So if there was someone else that could do what I can do, then I wouldn't be able to work for them because I would feel like I can do a better job.
Yeah.
But if someone's doing something that I can't do, then that is it. I'll get in line, mate, and I'll follow orders, But yeah, obviously Sarah is she's great she's great, to be fair. So
and have you got any sort of contingencies in place for when the baby's born? Like, have you got someone who's going to kind of be Sarah for a few months?
Yeah, I mean we've got a little bit of help with childcare, but mate, it's like when and again,
I was thinking more the business care than the childcare.
No, but I mean, no one's going to be Sarah. Let's face it, and nobody's going to be Ryan. But again, like when I went from 1 van to 2 vans to 3 vans to 4 vans to 5 vans to 10 vans to 20 vans to etc. 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 You adapt and you learn. Do you know what I mean? And it's like children. When I had my first son, it was a handful, and then I had my daughter, and it was a handful. But I'll get used to it. Mm-hmm. Bit like Toot and Beck, going from one team to another team, to another team, and then obviously having 3, 4, 5, 10 teams or whatever, you just like you say, you manage it, don't you? You
have to be agile in all these situations.
Yeah. But like I say, with it, AI is a big thing now. Technology is a big thing. I'm very much following that now, which I wouldn't normally do. When I was younger, I want to say, is it pig-headed or ignorant or something like that?
Yeah, both.
I wouldn't listen, and I would just say, that's not going to work. Like even the way I go out and price jobs, I still go to the job and I like to see the person. I like the face-to-face value. But I know nowadays that's not the case. People want it from pictures and videos. And there's some big companies out there that are pricing jobs. Let's say there was a company the other day in Wales that I went up against on a job, and they were cheap, yeah? But I matched it anyway because there was just about enough margin in it. But they didn't go to the property. They've done it all, but they've just gone on scale, and they're going to probably get majority of the times right. But if they do mess up a price and underprice it, it doesn't matter because they've covered so many other jobs.
They can afford to take a hit on one job because it's a numbers game, and they've got the numbers in for all the other jobs. I see what you're saying.
Exactly. But for us to scale, the only way it can scale is to make it sustainable. So myself and Sarah don't have to be there all the time. So somehow my job count, that the amount of work that I bring in, is it has to be replaced. Like, so the only way to do that is by having systems in place, like your software correctly, and then to have
maybe that app that you're talking about.
Yeah, and to have all your stuff tracked so you can go on stats. It's a bit like football again. You need to know how many passes there were, how much possession, how many times it was offside and stuff. Like we need to be able to track everything now. And then you can actually look at your true costs of stuff. Getting work through the door is really expensive, right? Like really expensive. So if we go to a job for a free estimate, we really need to make it. We really need to try and win as many as we can, because you don't want to be a busy fool running.
But that's an art form, isn't it? in itself is knowing how to pitch it, not just to get the margins right, but to get the job.
Yeah, but parts and materials are so expensive. Like boilers are like, I used to get a good boiler for like £700, like a good Valent. Now you're talking 1,200 plus the VAT.
Right.
So it's like £500 more. So luckily there's other boiler brands that are cheaper. Like Glowworm, for instance, is a great boiler. It's owned by Valent. It's a little bit more affordable. And I find a lot of people are fitting them now because they just can't afford the Ferrari boiler and just want a Renault Clio, you know?
I was speaking to a guy the other day because I was talking to him about the heat pumps that we were doing, and he was saying that he'd just fitted some Siemens ones. I don't know if you work with Siemens much. But
Siemens boilers?
No, heat pumps.
Yeah.
Heat pumps, and he was saying that they.
No, to be honest with you, mate, the heat pump thing, I'm not gonna lie and say I've fitted loads, right? Round where we are in Surrey, Dakin were quite big. I believe that maybe their head office was in somewhere like Weybridge or somewhere, which was near. And then there's another cheaper one. I want to say it was Irish called Grant that we started looking at. But at the minute, it was just sticking with Valent because of the product support.
Right. Well, that's what he was saying. So what was amazing, he said he fitted them all. And then the guy was just on the other end of the line telling him, he's like, well, actually, I think there's a bit of an airlock issue. He said, just go and bleed some radiators and hopefully that. But this guy was just in an office somewhere telling the tradesman what to do to kind of, and I was like, I don't know whether that's something that all...
they all have technical helplines.
Yeah, they all have helplines that can sort of tune into the heat pump.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Because that's what he was saying. He's like, it was amazing. He was like, I've not come across Siemens much. He's like, but they were literally telling him exactly what was happening from some office hundreds of miles away.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't know where that's worth looking.
I suppose like I've got ADT. It's probably similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can.
Yeah, so they could remotely switch it on, turn it off, control it. So when he went away, the customer could then phone Siemens up and.
2 seconds, mate. So it's someone picking up Toot and Beck merch, man. Hey, Will, you're right, mate. That is the Toot and Beck new merch to test. So I've got AFC Wimbledon tonight, so I'm going to be wearing that along, and hopefully some of the the business connections I have at AFC Wimbledon would also potentially get involved with partnering up with Toot and Beck.
That'd be good.
And then we've also sponsored a charity fundraiser day for again another sports club in Wimbledon, Old Rutlitions, on Sunday. So Raya, the main sponsors, and again going to rep the Toot and Beck clothes. Cool. Just because I've got other business friends coming that are going to come in, hopefully again as partners or sponsors, so they can see, how good the badge is. It's a good-looking kit, man. Isn't it, Steph?
Yeah.
Good-looking kit.
Is it a new home kit?
It's it's black and white striped home kit. It's always been that. Orange away kit. Have we got a third kit, Steph?
No.
You don't need one at that level normally, do you? Especially if you're awake, it's orange.
Yeah. So he's coming now, man. But
well, we better wrap this up, haven't we? Because
mate. Listen, it's been good to talk to you.
Yeah, we could talk all day.
Yeah, it's nice. It's easy flow, man. But yeah, obviously football again tonight. I'm not gonna not score tonight, yeah, because I said last time and I fucking should have scored, man. And I've been giving it to Barry McGuigan to Steph as well about like how if I played for Toot and Beck, how many I'd score. So if I don't play well tonight, then that's it, man.
Remember, don't try too hard. Just relax.
Composure.
Like when you were playing for celebrity soccer and you bagged those goals, you were just chilled. Yeah, composure, exactly.
But the other
you were talking about Cantona earlier. No one more chilled until someone says something to him in the audience and he goes and fly kicks him.
Kicks him in the head.
All or nothing, isn't it?
But that other game for the charity football one in Wales, man, them chances, I just don't know why it didn't go in.
There was a couple where I was like, I don't know how.
I know my header I messed up.
That one you should have scored, and then there's the one that was where the keeper and you were on the floor, and it just kind of ended up going out for a goal kick. It was it was mad. And there was a couple of. I'd say you probably had 4 chances in that game.
I know,
but nobody else really got any chances.
I look back at the footage. I don't think I had a bad game.
No, you didn't have a bad game. You just didn't.
I played all right.
You didn't have a lot of support. I mean, you were heavily outnumbered by the other team. They were much better, but.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's enough tradesmen that are good at football that could have made that a much more of an even game, but they just weren't there, like Carl and Pinky and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love charity football.
Yeah,
Like it's
That's why I posted that video today. I was like, it was good timing with the game you got tonight. And
yeah,
stuff,
no, it's good, man. Whereas like having to play on a Sunday morning, I just don't have the time to take it away from the kids, man.
Well, hopefully you've had another game before Well, you've got tonight's game anyway.
So when this comes out, Wimbledon are a League One football team.
Yes, they are.
It is currently the 23rd of May, and it's 4:10.
And they play on the 26th, don't they? So.
Yeah, man, at 3:00. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice weekend.
See you later.
Au revoir.